For the first time in Sugar Bowl history, snow covers the stands and sidelines prior to the 30th annual Sugar Bowl Football Classic New Year's Day. Here is the unusual mid-morning scene of Sugar Bowl Stadium before workmen began a cleanup job of removing the snow which fell on New Year's Eve. The American Legion Band, under the direction of Professor Howard Voorhees, entertains the early arrivals. Now the Gorgas Guard of Sewanee Military Academy performs. The Ole Miss Rebels are first on the field, followed by the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Rebels begin their pregame warm-ups at the north end of the field. Here's the Alabama team as it loosens up at the south end. And here are the rival coaches, Bear Bryant of Alabama on the left and Johnny Vaught of Ole Miss as they shake hands. Miss Carmen Dubrock, Sugar Bowl Queen, is escorted by President Marshall David onto the field for the crowning ceremonies. President David crowns charming Carmen Dubrock, Queen of the 1964 Sugar Bowl. Dr. Frank A. Rose, President of the University of Alabama. Next is Chancellor John D. Williams of the University of Mississippi. All fans stand with bowed heads as the Reverend Sherwood S. Clayton delivers the prayer for peace. Old Glory is raised, and under band director Carlton K. Butler, University of Alabama, all musical organizations participate on the field in the playing of the national anthem, sung by baritone Norman Tragle of the New Orleans Opera Company. And a roar goes up as the Alabama Crimson Tide enters from the south end and comes onto the field. Nearing game time, the Ole Miss Rebels race onto the field from the north end, amid cheers from their followers. Ole Miss captains Perry Lee Dunn, Kenny Dill, and Whaley Hall meet with 16 Alabama seniors, acting captains, in the center of the field. Alabama wins the toss, elects to receive. Ole Miss will kick off and defend the south goal. And here's the start of the game. Morgan kicks off for Ole Miss to the Alabama 11-yard line. Morgan takes it in and hauls it back 20 yards to the Alabama 31. Crimson Tide has the ball, 1st and 10. That's Sloan, the quarterback, pitching Nelson, who tries right end and loses a yard to the Alabama 30. He's stopped by Roberts. Second and 11 for Alabama. Sloan keeps it this time. Ducks back off the right side for a gain of 5 to the Alabama 35-yard line, where he's stopped by Matina. 3rd down, 6 yards to go for the Crimson Tide. Sloan back to pass. He throws it out to Nelson in the left flat. It's good for a gain of 5 to the Alabama 40. Dill making the stop. 4th down, 1 yard to go. Alabama elects to kick. French punts to the Ole Miss 28-yard line. The Rebels, Dunn, signals for the fair catch. Fumbles the ball, and Roberts recovers for Ole Miss. That kick was good for 32 yards. So now the Rebels take the offensive. 1st and 10. Dunn hands off to Ritz. He moves over right guard for 2 to the Ole Miss 30, stopped by Crane. With 2nd and 8, it's Dunn at quarterback, handing off this time to Smith, who tries left guard, gains 1 to the Ole Miss 31, where he's stopped by Simmons. Dunn sends a man in motion to the right. Fakes, runs off left tackle himself. He gains 4 in this one to the Mississippi 35, where he's stopped by Dill. That makes it 4th and 3 yards to go. Ole Miss will kick. Irwin punts to the Alabama 11-yard line. Nelson takes the ball in. Moves to his left. Then reverses his field. He's hit and fumbled. Recovers for a gain of 2 yards to the Alabama 13. That kick was good for 54 yards from scrimmage. Alabama on the attack with a 1st and 10. It's Sloan handing off to Martin up the middle for a gain of 10 and a first down on the Alabama 23. Dunn and Heidel make the tackle. Sloan is the quarterback for Bama. He pitches back to Nelson. At right guard, he gains 6 yards to the Alabama 29, tackled by Dill. With 2nd and 4 now. Sloan this time hands off to Martin, who moves over right guard for 3 to the Alabama 32. Stopped a yard short of the first down by Matina. So here it is, 3rd and 1. Sloan handing to Vesprilli. He picks up 4, and it's a first down on the Bama 36 with Brown making the tackle. Sloan gives it to Nelson, who tries left guard. Fumbles the ball. Recovers for a gain of 3 to the Alabama 39. Stopped by Davis. 2nd and 7 now for Alabama. Sloan pitching back to Nelson, who runs left tackle. And he loses a yard to the Alabama 38. Ford leads the charge for Ole Miss. With 3rd and 8, Sloan on a rollout. Decides to run back over right guard. And he gains 11 yards to the Alabama 49, where it's a first down to the Crimson Tide. Dill made the tackle. Sloan hands off to Nelson, who tries left guard and loses a yard to the Alabama 48. Stopped by Hindman. With 2nd and 11 now. Sloan, the quarterback, back to pass. He throws to Dill. Good for 9 yards to the Mississippi 43. Roberts makes a stop. That makes it 3rd and 2. Sloan pitches back to Nelson. He hits right tackle for a gain of 3, and it's good for a first down on the Ole Miss 40. Heidel makes the tackle. Sloan hands off to Vesprilli at right guard. Good for a gain of 1 to the Mississippi 39. Hindman. 2nd and 9 now for Alabama. Sloan with a quick pass to Stevens. It's good for 15 yards and a first down on the Ole Miss 24. Roberts makes the tackle. Ole Miss suffers a 5-yard penalty for offside. Now, Sloan hands off to Frocky, who hurdles right guard for a gain of 3 to the Ole Miss 16, where he's stopped by Hindman. Sloan pitches back to Frocky, who tries right tackle. He's stopped with 1 yard at the Mississippi 15. Hall makes the tackle, and it's 4th down and a yard to go. So here's Nelson holding. Davis back to kick. He boots a 31-yard field goal from a difficult side angle. And the score with 1 minute 15 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Alabama 3, Ole Miss nothing. After kicking out of bounds, Elmore kicks off again from the Alabama 35 to Ole Miss's 8-yard line. Dennis gathers it in, and he gallops back 26 yards to the Mississippi 32 before he's stopped by Wright. Weatherly in a quarterback now for the Rebels. Hands it off to Wells. Moves over the middle, gains 4 to the Mississippi 36, stopped by Wiseman. With 2nd and 6, Weatherly, the quarterback, attempts a running pass. The ball slips out of his hand. It's a loss of 5 to the Ole Miss 31, and Henry recovers for Alabama as the first period ends. The score, Alabama 3, Ole Miss nothing. Hurlbut is in a quarterback for Alabama to start the second quarter. He fumbles and recovers for a loss of 4 here to the Ole Miss 35-yard line. That makes it 2nd and 14. This time, Hurlbut hands off to Vesprilli at left guard. He gains 5 yards to the Ole Miss 30, stopped by Dunn. With 3rd and 9 for Alabama, Hurlbut back to pass. He throws intended for Martin. It's incomplete. That makes it 4th down, 9 yards to go for Alabama. And here comes Tim Davis back in to kick a field goal. With Nelson holding, he boots his second field goal of the game from 46 yards out. And Alabama leads 6-0. Now Elmore kicks off to the Ole Miss 4-yard line. Dennis returns it 29 yards. Shakes off several tacklers, gets out to the Ole Miss 33, fumbles the ball, and Aldridge recovers for the Rebels at that spot. Weatherly at quarterback for Ole Miss. Hands off to Dennis. He fumbles after a gain of 4 to the Rebels 37, and Piper recovers for Alabama. Sloan at quarterback for the Crimson Tide. Back to pass. He pitches one intended for Tollison in the end zone. It's incomplete. 2nd and 10 for Alabama. Sloan at quarterback. Runs wide at the right side. Picks up 3 yards at the Mississippi 34 before he's stopped by Wilkin. 3rd and 7. Sloan fades to the left. Throws intended for Tollison again. It's overthrown. That makes it 4th and 7 yards to go for Alabama, and Tim Davis comes back in to try another field goal. This time from 50 yards out. With Nelson holding, his kick is short and wide, and Ole Miss takes over on its own 20-yard line. Score remains 6-0, Alabama leading. After a pass completion and 2 runs fail to make the first down, on 4th and 3, Lambert punts to the Bama 28. Piper takes it, returns 9 yards to Alabama's 37, where he's stopped by Wilkins. That kick was good for 45 yards. Here's Sloan bringing his team out from the huddle. Quarterbacking for Alabama. The Crimson Tide leading 6-0. Sloan hands it to Sherrill. He moves up the middle 3 yards to the Bama 40, stopped by Harvey. 2nd and 7. Sloan fakes, keeps it, moves over left guard, picks up 6 yards to the Bama 46, where he's stopped by Nelson. 3rd down, a yard to go. And it's Sloan in a quarterback sneak, picking up 2 and the first down on the Bama 48. He's stopped by Upchurch. After 2 passes and a run, failed to make the first down. With 4th and 16, French punts for Alabama. He kicks out to the Ole Miss 3-yard line. Heidel finally fields the punt. Gets back just 2 yards to the Ole Miss 5, where he's stopped by Harris. That kick went 55 yards. Ole Miss again fails to make the first down after 3 runs, and Lambert punts back to the Bama 41. Benny Nelson takes it and returns 14 to Mississippi's 45, where he's stopped by Matina. The kick was good for 45 yards. Ole Miss was penalized 5 yards for delay of the game, and with 1st and 5, Sloan takes over the controls now for Alabama. The quarterback hands off to Versprilli. He gains 2 at left guard to the Mississippi 38, stopped by Matina. That makes it 2nd and 3. Sloan gives it to Benny Nelson. He tries right tackle, squirts through for 7 yards to the Ole Miss 31, and it's a first down. Dill made the tackle. Sloan pitches back to Nelson. Nelson's going to pass. He throws it intended for Henry. It's intercepted on the Ole Miss 5 by Heidel. And he's dropped at the 8-yard line by Henry. 1st and 10 now for Ole Miss. Dunn rolls out to the right. He throws intended for Smith. He takes it for 8 yards, then fumbles. Versprilli recovers for Alabama at the Ole Miss 16. Crimson Tide threatening again. Sloan hands off to Martin. He moves up the middle for 4 yards to the Ole Miss 12, stopped by Hindman. Sloan hands off to Versprilli. He hits left guard, no gain, stopped by Dill. It's 3rd and 6. This time, Sloan pitches back to Nelson, who tries to gains 5 yards to the Ole Miss 7 and misses the first down by inches. Dill knocks him down. It's 4th and inches to go. Sloan tries a quarterback sneak. He picks up 2. It's a first down on the Ole Miss 5. First down, goal to go for Alabama. Sloan a quarterback. Quick pitch back to Nelson. He tries left tackle, but he loses 1 when Davis drops him on the Ole Miss 6. That makes it 2nd and goal. Sloan sends a man in motion, drops back. He's being rushed hard. The pass is intended for Dill, but it's incomplete. 3rd down, goal to go. And here's Tim Davis back in again with Nelson holding. He kicks a 22-yard field goal. And Alabama now leads Ole Miss 9-0. Elmore kicks off for Alabama. The ball rolls the Ole Miss 44. Heinman recovers it for no return. Weatherly at quarterback now for the Rebels. Sends a man in motion to the right. He fumbles the ball for a loss of 2 to the Ole Miss 42. Robinson recovers for the Rebels. 2nd and 12 and time running out. Weatherly the quarterback. Back to pass. Looks for Wells. Throws to him. But it's intercepted by Nelson on the Alabama 18. Nelson, pointing to his blockers, moves back 34 yards to the Ole Miss 48 before he's stopped by Weatherly, the man who started the play. And that's how the second quarter ends. Alabama leads Ole Miss 9-0 at halftime. A near-capacity crowd of 80,785 fans view the 30th annual Sugar Bowl Football Classic. Now let's go down to the field and enjoy the halftime pageantry. Under the direction of Colonel Carlton K. Butler, the University of Alabama's $1 Million Band entertains the fans. Apache Bells of Tyler, Texas, and their band take the field. University of Mississippi's colorful Rebel Band, directed by Lyle Babcock, performs. Now we're ready for the third quarter. Now the second half gets underway as Elmore kicks off for Alabama. He boots the ball down to the Ole Miss 4-yard line. Wells takes it in and gallops back 27 yards to the Ole Miss 31 before he's stopped by Wiseman. Rebels have the ball, 1st and 10. It's Weatherly at quarterback. He hands off to Dennis, who tries right tackle and gains 11 yards for a first down at the Ole Miss 42, where he's stopped by Crane. Handoff goes to Dennis again. This time he picks up 3 at right guard to the Ole Miss 45, stopped by Wiseman. With 2nd and 7, Weatherly pitches back again to Dennis, and he goes for 6 yards at right tackle to the Alabama 49, stopped by Versprilli. With 3rd and 1, Weatherly hands off to Kennard at left tackle. He fumbles for no gain, and Hurlbut recovers for Alabama at the Bama 49. So the Crimson Tide takes over with Sloan at quarterback. He hands to Versprilli. It's a gain of 14 yards through right tackle and a first down on the Ole Miss 37. Heidel and Kennard make the stop. Sloan gives it to Benny Nelson, who moves off the right side and is run out of bounds by Heidel after a gain of 7 to the Ole Miss 30. 2nd and 3 for Alabama. Sloan the quarterback, hands to Martin. Pickup of 2 at right guard to the Ole Miss 28, stopped by Roberts. So it's 3rd down and 1 yard to go. And here's Sloan on the quarterback sneak, picking up the 3 yards needed for the first down on the Ole Miss 25. Sloan hands to Verspilli. He fumbles for a loss of 1 to the Ole Miss 26, and it's recovered by Hall of Ole Miss. After an incomplete pass and 2 runs, failed to make the needed yardage for the Rebels. With 4th and 4, Lambert of Ole Miss punts out 32 yards to the Alabama 36. Watch the ball as it rolls in. Bama on the offense again. Sloan, the quarterback, fakes, keeps it, moves over right guard for 3 yards to the Bama 39. Stopped by Dill. 2nd down, 7 yards to go. Sloan gives to Nelson. He scoots 5 yards to the Bama 44. Stopped by Heidel. 3rd and 2 for Alabama. Sloan, the quarterback, faking, keeping it. Gains 2 yards to the Bama 46, and it's a 1st down. Harvey made the tackle. With the 1st and 10 working, Sloan hands off to Sherrill at center. He picks up a yard to the Bama 47, where Aldridge makes a stop. Sloan keeps it, cuts back inside right tackle, and gains 4 yards to the Ole Miss 49. Ole Miss is penalized 15 yards in this play, giving Bama a 1st down at the Ole Miss 34. Here's Bama, 1st and 10. Sloan passing intended for Ogden in the end zone. The ball hits his fingertips, but it's incomplete. That makes it 2nd and 10. Sloan with the ball, fumbles it. It's recovered by Davis of Ole Miss, and he's off and running, but the ball is brought back to the point of recovery, the Ole Miss 37-yard line. After Bama's penalized 5 yards for offsides, Weatherly rolls to the right. His pass intended for Wilkins is overthrown, and Piper intercepts for Alabama on the Bama 41. So Alabama takes it right back. Here's Sloan, the quarterback, handing off to Frocky. He picks up 5 yards at right guard to the Alabama 46. J.M. Nelson making the tackle. Sloan gives it to Frocky again. Picks up 2 to the Alabama 48. The stop by Upchurch. 3rd and 3. Sloan pitches back to Frocky. He cuts off the right side and gains 3 to the Ole Miss 49. It's a 1st down. The stop by Heidel. Sloan keeps it. Cuts off guard. Gains 9 yards to the Ole Miss 40. The stop by Matina. That'll make it 2nd down and 1 yard to go. Sloan hands to Andrews. He carves out 7 yards up the middle to the Ole Miss 33 for a 1st down. Sloan gives it to Sherrill. A good for a gain of a yard to the Ole Miss 32, where Heinman makes the stop. 2nd down, 9 yards to go for Alabama. Sloan hands off to Frocky, but he's held for no gain at guard by Smith. Alabama's ball, 3rd down, 9 yards to go. Sloan back to pass. Looks into the right flat. Throws to Frocky, who drops the ball. It's incomplete. So it's 4th down and 9 yards to go. And once again, in comes Tim Davis. With Nelson holding, he kicks a 48-yard field goal. His 4th of the game for a new Sugar Bowl record. Alabama now leads Ole Miss 12-0. Elmore kicks off for Alabama. Ball goes down to the Ole Miss 17, where Roberts takes it in. He moves down the sideline 9 yards to the Ole Miss 26, where he stopped by Elmore, the man who did the booting. 1st and 10 for the Rebels. Perry Lee Dunn, the quarterback, fakes and runs to the left. Gets outside for 9 yards to the Ole Miss 35 before Hurlbut makes a stop. With 2nd and 1, Dunn, the quarterback, hands off to Roberts, who smashes for 5 yards and a 1st down at the Ole Miss 40. He's stopped by Piper as the 3rd period ends. Alabama 12, Ole Miss nothing. Final period begins with Ole Miss on the march. Perry Lee Dunn, the quarterback, rolling out to the left, throws a pass intended for Davis, but it's incomplete. 2nd down, 10 yards to go for the Rebels. Here's Dunn dropping back. He throws to Wells. Wells makes the catch in a dead run and goes 42 yards to the Alabama 18 for the first down. Stopped by a shoe-top tackle by Martin. Dunn, the quarterback, hands to Roberts, who picks up 3 to the Bama 15. That makes it 2nd and 7. Dunn sends a man in motion to the left. Keeps the ball, rolls out to the left, and passes to Dennis, who gets 5 to the Bama 10-yard line. Third down, 2 yards to go for Ole Miss. Dunn gives it to Dennis, and he's held for no gain at left tackle. A key play coming up. 4th down, 2 yards to go. Dunn sprints out to the right, cuts back off right tackle, and picks up 5 yards to the Bama 5, and it's a first down for Ole Miss. Versprilli made the tackle. The big play for Ole Miss. 1st and goal. Smith in motion to the left. Terry Lee Dunn, the quarterback, keeps the ball, rolls to the left. He throws to Smith. Smith has it, and into the end zone he goes for the touchdown. That drive good for 74 yards in 9 plays. Irwin is in to kick the extra point with Bailey holding. He makes good. And Alabama now leads 12-7. Irwin kicks off for the Rebels. And he boots it into the end zone. The Tide will put the ball in play on its own 20-yard line. Here's Sloan at quarterback. He hands off to Versprilli, who picks up 2 yards at right guard to the Alabama 22, stopped by Dean. The 2nd and 8. Sloan hands off to Benny Nelson, who tries right tackle and goes for 3 to the Alabama 25, the stop by Roberts. That makes it 3rd and 5. Here's Sloan on a keeper. He slips through for 7 to the Alabama 32. It's a fumble, and Robinson recovers for Ole Miss. Rebels have a 1st and 10. The ball on the Alabama 32-yard line. Trailing by 5 points, it's Perry Lee Dunn at quarterback. He fakes and passes to Roberts. It's good. Roberts moves for 23 yards to the Alabama 9 and a first down. 1st and goal now for the Rebels. Man in motion to the right. Dunn, the quarterback, rolls to the right. Keeps the ball. Gets a nice block and gains 6 to the Alabama 3, where he's stopped by Dill. So it's 2nd down and 3 yards for the touchdown. Dunn, the quarterback, puts a man in motion to the left. The handoff to Roberts at the middle, but he's stopped by Lewis for a loss of 1 on the Alabama 4-yard line. 3rd down, 4 yards for the goal. Dunn sprints out to the left. He's going to pass. It's intended for Brown, but he catches the ball out of bounds, and it's incomplete. 4th down, 1 more chance for the goal. Dunn sweeps the left side. Gets inside 1 tackler, picks up 2, but he's stopped at the 2-yard line by the right side of the Bama line, and the Crimson Tide takes over on down. After Sloan gains only 5 yards on 2 quarterback keeps. With 3rd and 5, French punts for Alabama. He kicks out to the Crimson Tide 41, a boot of 34 yards from scrimmage. Jimmy Heidel held for no return by McCullough and Wright. That puts Ole Miss back on the attack, trailing 12-7. Dunn, the quarterback, drops back to throw. He passes to Dennis. It's good for 21 yards and a first down on the Alabama 20. Dunn puts a man in motion to the left. He passes again, this time to Petty, complete for 11 yards to the Alabama 9. But Petty fumbles, and Versprilli recovers for Alabama. After 3 thrusts into the middle of the line, failed again. With 4th and 5, French punts to the Ole Miss 46-yard line. Dunn fumbles it, and Simmons recovers for Alabama at the Ole Miss 41. But watch him, he runs on into the end zone. However, the ball will be brought back and put in play at the point of recovery. Again, Alabama cannot make the first down, and with 4th and 20, French punts to the Ole Miss 25. Dunn signals for a fair catch. Fumbles the ball, but recovers for no gain. The kick was good for 26 yards. Weatherly's pass intended for Wells falls short, but the play's called back, and Ole Miss is penalized 5 yards here for illegal motion to their 20. That makes it 1st and 15. Weatherly, the quarterback, drops back. He throws for Wells. Incomplete. 2nd and 15 now for the Rebels. Weatherly back again to throw. This time his pass is intended for Wilkins. Wilkins takes it for 19 yards and a first down on the Ole Miss 39, where he stopped by Dill. Weatherly throws for Wells. It's incomplete in the flat, stopping the clock. 2nd and 10. Weatherly back to throw. It's complete to Wells for 15 yards and a first down on the Alabama 46, where he stopped by Versprilli. Weatherly fires out in the flat, intended for Wells, incomplete. Once again, though, the clock is stopped. Weatherly back to throw again. This one is intended for Dennis. It's broken up by Harris. 3rd and 10 for the Rebels, trailing 12-7 in the waning moments of the game. Weatherly back to pass again. He throws intended for Sumrall, but overshoots the mark. 4th and 10. Weatherly back to throw. He hits Wells for 12 yards and a first down on the Alabama 34. Ole Miss then suffers a 15-yard penalty to the Bama 49. That'll make it 1st down and 25 yards to go. Time for about one more play, and this is it. Weatherly back to pass. He throws, and it's intercepted by Piper on Alabama's 28. Piper returns 17 yards to the Bama 45 as the game ends. Alabama the winner, 12-7. And here's that victorious Alabama squad as they move off the field. Coach Bear Bryant being congratulated by Ole Miss coach Johnny Vaught. And finally, we take you to the finale of the Sugar Bowl extravaganza, the Players Award Party following the game. Alabama and Ole Miss players assemble for awards presentation. President Marshall David presents the Sugar Bowl trophy to Coach Paul Bear Bryant of Alabama. Charles Zatterin, past president, awards the trophy to Coach Johnny Vaught of Ole Miss. Mr. A.B. Nicholas, chairman of the executive committee, presents the most valuable player award to kicking specialist Tim Davis of Alabama. Pageant chairman Irwin Fauché presents a replica of the Sugar Bowl crown to Miss Carmen Dubrock, queen of the Sugar Bowl. Why don't you plan to visit New Orleans soon? New Orleans, historic city of charm and culture, home of the Sugar Bowl.